Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're squatting while you're watching this, because today, if you're someone who experiences knee pain while squatting, while training, or just in general life, then this video is for you. I'm going to take you through 4 of my favorite exercises that are going to help you with your knee pain, that are going to improve mobility, stability, and strength. But before I do that, I want to have a quick chat about the cause of your knee pain. So the first thing you have to understand is the main cause of knee pain often stems from lack of mobility and control in the hips and ankles, rather than an issue with the knees themselves. I want you to think of the knee as a victim joint caught between the hip and the ankle, and any restrictions or imbalances in those areas lead to compensations that stress the knee. So as a result, knee pain is usually a symptom of poor movement patterns, weak supporting muscles, and inadequate range of motion in adjacent joints. So addressing these underlying issues through proper mobility, strength, and movement training is key to resolving knee pain. And you're often going to see people who have weak glutes, tight hip flexors, poor ankle mobility, and lack of control in the foot that are experiencing knee pain, because these dysfunctions lead to poor knee alignment and tracking during movements like squatting, lunging, or running. And it also places excessive stress on the knee joint, and that's why you're experiencing all of this pain. So therefore, correcting faulty mechanics, strengthening the hips, improving ankle mobility, and ensuring proper squat form are key strategies for alleviating knee pain. So let's dive a little deeper into what causes knee pain. Number 1 is movement pattern dysfunction. One of the primary drivers of knee pain is improper movement patterns, particularly during fundamental movements like squatting, lunging, running, or jumping. Faulty knee mechanics, such as the knees collapsing inward or excessive forward knee tracking, are often symptoms of poor motor control. Now, this results in uneven loading of the knee joint, which leads to increased stress on structures like the patella tendon, meniscus, or ligaments over time. So for example, if an athlete's knee caves in during a squat, it's typically a sign of weak glutes, poor external rotation at the hip, or a lack of foot stability, rather than an issue with the knees themselves. Number 2 is hip mobility and stability issues. Knee pain is often rooted in inadequate hip mobility and stability. So tight hip flexors and adductors, for example, can restrict movement, while weak hip abductors and glutes can lead to a loss of lateral stability. This imbalance can force the knee to bear unnecessary stress, compromising its alignment and leading to pain. So in order to fix this, we need to work on strengthening the glutes, example exercises like clamshells and lateral band walks, and also improve hip external rotation and flexion mobility through targeted stretches. Number 3 is ankle mobility restrictions. So poor ankle mobility, particularly limited dorsiflexion, the ability to bring the toes up towards the shin, is another major culprit of knee pain. When the ankle can move properly, the body compensates by shifting the load onto the knee, causing excessive forward translation and stress. Now, this restriction is common in athletes who wear stiff footwear, who have tight calves, or who have experienced ankle injuries in the past. How to correct this? Ankle mobilization techniques, example banded ankle distractions and calf stretching to increase range of motion and proper squat depth without compromising knee alignment. Number 4 is foot stability and arch control. This highlights the importance of foot stability in maintaining knee health. A collapsed arch or poor foot mechanics during weight-bearing activities can disrupt the alignment of the entire lower limb, leading to knee instability and increased valgus stress. As an example, if the foot collapses inwards over pronation, it creates a domino effect, causing the tibia to rotate excessively and the knee to drift inward. This can significantly contribute to issues like patellofemoral pain syndrome or IT band syndrome. The solution is training the feet with exercises like short foot drills, arch raises, and barefoot training to build intrinsic foot strength and support proper knee alignment. 5. Quad dominance and muscle imbalances. Now, many people with knee pain are quad dominant, meaning they rely too heavily on their quadriceps during lower body movements while neglecting their posterior chain, their glutes and hamstrings. This imbalance can pull the kneecap, the patella, out of optimal tracking, leading to patella tendinopathy or pain around the kneecap. In order to address this, we need to integrate hamstring and glute strengthening exercises, example Romanian deadlifts and glute bridges, to balance out the anterior-posterior forces acting on the knee joint. And number 6, improper load management and overtraining. This can happen when athletes increase their training intensity or volume too quickly without adequate recovery, leading to overuse injuries like patella tendinitis and stress fractures. In order to prevent this, we need a structured program that includes progressive overload, adequate rest periods, and a balanced approach to strength and mobility training. And lastly, when looking at knee pain, we must consider individual variability. Everyone's knee pain is unique and it must be evaluated individually. Factors like previous injuries, training age, structural alignment, and sport-specific demands must be taken into account when diagnosing and treating knee pain. The exercises that I'm going to share with you in this video are designed to be incorporated into your schedule 3 to 4 times a week with the aim of increasing mobility, stability, range of motion, and strength, ultimately restoring proper movement patterns and joint function. So let's get into it. The first exercise you're going to start with is this isometric squat hold. So I'm basically sitting on a box or a bench with my leg at 90 degrees. The other leg is out in front, knee is locked out, quad is super engaged and tight, and I'm just holding this isometric position for 30 seconds. What you're going to find is that your hip gets activated, your knee, your quad, your ankle, your calf, pretty much your whole lower limb gets activated in this isometric position. And I really like to do it as like a primer before the main exercise because it really gets that knee joint stable and ready for action. So you're going to hold that 30-second isometric position on one leg, then you're going to switch over to the other leg, and then you're going to repeat it one more time for a total of 60 seconds of work per leg before moving on to your first exercise, which will be the single leg squat to a box. Single leg squat to a box, you're just going to assume a position on a bench. You're going to sit back, lightly touch your butt to the bench, and then stand up. You can see that I'm training barefoot. This is because I want to train the stabilizing muscles of my foot, as we spoke about is very important for knee health. And I'm also really focusing that my knee is tracking over my toe as I'm squatting down to the bench. You want to only lightly touch the bench with your butt, so don't pause, don't sit down, don't push off the bench. We really want to target that knee and that hip joint and really focus on putting time under tension by completing rep after rep and really building that resilience, that blood flow through the ligaments and the tendons. You're going to feel this everywhere. You're going to feel it in your glutes, in your hips, in your quads, in your knees. Awesome exercise to prep the body. I suggest you do this every day. So we're going to do 15 reps on one leg, 15 reps on the other leg, and then we're going to repeat one more time for a total of 2 rounds. That's your single leg squat to a box. Your second exercise is the banded knee rotation. So I've got a pretty heavy resistance band attached to a pole there, and I've got it wrapped around my knee. So what I'm going to do is just let my knee cave in and then drive out against that band. This really helps strengthen that external rotation and proper alignment of the knee, and it really helps strengthen those small tiny ligaments around the knee, your VMO, as well as your quad and your hip. So really focus on stabilizing the hip and twisting through the knee inside and outside against that band. The harder the band, the better it is. So work with what you have, but aim to increase that resistance over time. And then I pause in the last rep for 10 seconds, holding that position. I then get into a kneeling position where I am just isometrically holding this position, and it's going to require some core control, core stability, as well as driving that knee out constantly against the band. Because you don't have that much support as you do while standing, this will be even more challenging. And I hold this for 30 seconds. So I'll complete 15 external rotations with the band, and then I'll pop down into a 30-second hold, and then I'll repeat that on the other leg, and then go back and do it once more through. So it's 2 rounds of these banded external rotations. The third exercise is the Poliquin step-ups. So here I'm going to show you how to actually set this up because most people don't get this correct. Basically, I've just got 2 weight plates and I've got a dumbbell on the weight plate, and I use that to prop my heel up. So we want that heel elevated at all times. And as we step down, we aim to place the heel in line with the top toe. And you're just going to go up and down for high reps, aiming to maintain balance and aiming to just keep really fluid movement through each rep. Not losing balance, not recatching your balance, not shifting your full position, just up and down, holding tension and creating that tension throughout the whole time. I complete 25 reps on one leg, and then I switch over to the other leg for 25 reps, and then back to the first leg for a total of 2 rounds. Poliquin step-ups are amazing for strengthening that knee and the ligaments surrounding knee, so I suggest you take this one very seriously and you incorporate it into your schedule daily. And the final exercise is the split squat. Amazing exercise for developing leg strength, knee strength, and also just preparing you for more advanced squatting patterns. I have my front foot elevated because this sort of reduces that range of motion required, so it's going to allow you to get deeper into that lunge. You want to aim to get your knee past your toe, your hamstring to your calf, and you also want to initiate the movement with the hip. So don't think about driving the knee forward, think about driving the hip forward and keeping your torso back. So you really want to stretch out that back hip, get that knee past that toe, and then come back with control. Core is nice and tight, posterior pelvic tilt, you're not arching your lower back. All of the weight is on your heel, so you're pushing back with that heel as well. Once you get good at this, you can add load in the form of dumbbells, barbells, and you can really increase the intensity. So those 4 exercises, I suggest you do 2 to 3 times a week. You can do it before your lower body session. You can do it as a snack. You can just do it in between your workouts, really. Especially if you have knee pain, this will really help. I suggest 2 to 3 times a week. Over the course of a month, you should see really good improvements in the health of your knees. Enjoy.